pact once broken, forged anew. Warlocks Waffles.
Did you want waffles?
Good morning, people of the internet. It is Monday.
Yeah.
It is. I
Mhm.
checked the calendar 3 times before we went live
Yeah.
to verify. It is in fact Monday, the day after Sunday, the day before Tuesday.
You're adding too many things. I'm getting confused again.
4 days before Friday.
Oh, God, there's so
and
much.
as we all know, Friday, got to get down on Friday. Rebecca Black. I don't think that is that Rebecca Black? I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
It's such
cool.
a very it's just a very cold shot. I was like, wait, wow. Okay, you did it. You
welcome to
always
the
bring
show.
it back to Rebecca Black. I don't know how you do it.
It's amazing how easy it is to connect things to Rebecca Black.
Mhm.
Welcome to the show, everybody. It is it's a weird morning. I feel like
It's gonna get weirder.
It's gonna get weirder.
Mhm.
We put that on the shirt list of just Warlocks and Waffles. It's gonna get weirder.
That's so good, yeah. It's weird and gonna get weirder.
Oh man. Welcome to the show, guys. We are talking about NPCs today. We talked about NPCs kind of in depth recently. We went over.
Wait a second. Hold on a second. Hold on. You shut the hell up. Wait, we have an order of operations here. How was your weekend?
My weekend was fun. I went to Hershey Park yesterday with my wife and my mother and my mother's boyfriend. So we went out to breakfast. I had a eggs Benedict, but it was served on, instead of like an English muffin, it was served on this like almost like mashed potatoes type thing. And then instead of like Canadian bacon, it was oh man, it was almost like a brisket or something like that. It was like this like just a really delicious smoky meat. It wasn't brisket. I don't remember what it was because
like
it was a full day ago. But yeah,
it was ages ago.
yeah, it was it was, what time is it? 8 o'clock. It was at least 24 hours ago. But yeah, it was very, very good. And then we went to Hershey Park and we rode a lot of roller coasters. And it was very entertaining to watch my mom and her boyfriend ride roller coasters. So yeah, it was a good day. Saturday didn't do too much. My wife had went and painted pottery with my mother-in-law. And so she did that, and I played Baldur's Gate. How about you?
Baldur's Gate? Yeah. Yeah, I spent way too much time. I told myself
we
let's
need
be
a
productive.
graphic that pops up across the screen that just is like,
it's like it's gonna be mentioned at least once every episode till we die.
They just
even when it's no
mentioned
longer
Baldur's
relevant.
Gate.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. We went apple picking on
That's adorable.
Saturday. It was my mom, my wife, and my daughter, and then didn't pick any apples, right? because it was also a food truck festival, and then I didn't have like, okay, whenever I go to a food truck festival or anything that where there's gonna be a lot of food and specifically like food, like, oh, we're here, everybody's here for the food. I have to weigh.
I thought you were
how
about. I thought you were about to
Uh,
reveal that you go to so many food truck festivals that
no,
you
no,
are like,
no. It's not
I
that
do
crazy,
this.
but
I
it
do
is.
this all the time. Here's my strategy for food
I
truck
do have a
festivals.
strategy, but it's gonna piss people off because I am not a foodie. I'm like
Okay.
I'm just like, it's food. I put it in my face a lot of time. I can be picky, but a lot of times I don't care.
Yeah.
So I have a how hungry am I
Uh-huh.
versus like, like almost like a cost to value ratio type of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So my like it turns into like a big family affair. Like a lot of my like family like ended up going, and whoa, I'm blurry all of a sudden. There we go. No,
Oh, yeah.
focus. Okay. And I basically was like, all right, there's lines for this. I know this one place is really, really good. I'm really hungry though, and I need to get something for my kid. And I know she's real picky and she's not going to eat whatever else. So my wife was in some like crawfish Cajun like seafood like food truck,
What? What are
and I
you
was
doing with your camera?
it's no, I when it turns on now for some reason the hand gestures, like because I can do hand gestures,
Yeah.
so I turned it off just now, but it was set to on, so when I do this it's like auto tracking me and it'll
Got
follow
it.
me around, and I'm trying to turn it off but I keep talking with my hands. Like I could just stop but I don't.
Right. Yeah.
So
I'm
she's
so
getting that.
glad that my camera doesn't have it because I do wildly gesture with my
Exactly. I
hands
have
when
to
I
turn that
talk.
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in theory, I could do this and I would be able to zoom into my face. I could zoom up
Mm.
and like that. But anyway, like they had like these one, it was like Italian rice balls that were like, you get like a
Oh,
pizza or a cheesesteak in a ball, like all these
nice.
things. But I
I
had to
will
weigh
say that that doesn't sound Italian. That sounds very American.
it was like a Sicilian original rice balls, and it was
Okay.
like, and it was, I don't know,
I could
they
be
had a lot
wrong.
of,
It might be an Italian thing.
I don't know, I don't think it's an
Like
Italian thing. I think
fried
it's
rice balls
they
filled with pizza sounds very American.
Yeah, yeah, and it was like, it's like, hey, look at this. Like I've seen, like, have you seen a pizza cone? I've seen like they had that. Like I've seen things like that. So I'm here looking at what has lines and what doesn't, and what I think my kid will eat. And my kid only
Yeah.
eats like chicken nuggets, fries, and mac and cheese. The mac and cheese truck was farther away and had a line, and I was like, I don't, and everything was gonna take forever. So I went to the one that had just like chicken tenders, some fries, and burgers. Like it was the like definitely some, like my sister-in-law looked at me and was like, why would you go to a food truck festival and get chicken tenders and fries?
Yeah.
And I think, and I get that. I totally do, but it was a matter of like, me hungry, baby hungry, need food right now, and I don't have time to think or whatever. And even then that took forever. The thing I wanted, the line would have taken an hour.
Sure.
Because I was like, I'm not gonna the barbecue place. I've waited in line for that barbecue truck before because I've seen
Yeah.
it. It's like dope mac and cheese with brisket on it. Is
Yeah.
crazy. But yeah, I just did that. But we spent so much time. It's a family of talkers. We're all
Mhm.
talkers and everything,
You?
and so much time. Yeah, right. Everybody's a talker. And then it started to storm. Like it was like
Mm.
we could tell storm was on the horizon. So we're like, oh, we gotta hurry up and do this. Like let's go in, and we let the baby run around in a like a haystack maze and all that stuff. And we're like, man, that storm's coming. I don't think we're gonna pick apples. And then the announcement was like, all hay rides to the apple picking have been canceled due to weather. And we're like, well, let's go inside that air conditioned building and get apples because we got
Mhm.
apples from the farm. And I
Mhm.
was like, man, when our kid reminisces and thinks back of today and says, hey, you ever go apple picking with your family? Like, yeah, I remember. Yeah, we went with my mom. We went up and down the aisles and we saw the apples and we picked the apples. It was really, we put them in a bag. It was really great. And I was like, that was our apple picking.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, uh, but
Oh
she had a
man,
blast. Oh boy, did she have a blast running around
that's so
in
freaking funny.
hay and seeing pumpkins and all this stuff. Um, but man, like it was the whole point. It was like, we're gonna go apple picking, and like that is not what happened.
Yeah. That's so
Also,
funny, though.
I didn't want to say. Speaking of food crimes, I didn't want to interrupt your thing. I've never had eggs Benedict. I don't know if I ever told you that.
I love eggs Benedict.
I know that.
It is
I know
probably
that.
my favorite breakfast food. I
I've had
had
breakfast with you, and I know
uh
that that's your favorite breakfast thing.
yeah. uh Saturday, or no, last Monday was my wife and my anniversary. So we went out to brunch after we got off the stream. And we got out there, and they had barbacoa eggs Benedict, which, so instead of the like English muffin, it was a barbacoa quesadilla, and it was amazing. Any alternate form of a like core basic eggs Benedict, amazing. uh any alternate version of eggs Benedict, also incredible. It's such a good food. I enjoy it immensely. My only complaint about eggs Benedict is it's almost always a very small portion, because it's like, here is half of a English muffin with a single piece of Canadian bacon, and then one egg onto it, and then the hollandaise. And it's like, that is a very small thing. A lot of places serve it like two of those, but that's still like not a ton of food.
Hmm.
When Grace and I went on our cruise for our honeymoon, the cruise had eggs Benedict as an option for breakfast, but it's all inclusive. You can eat as much as you want. So I was
Yeah,
every morning was like, bring me 2 orders of the eggs Benedict to start, and then we shall go from there. Um,
we'll go from there. I love that.
yeah, I had a wonderful time. I love eggs Benedict. I have since I was probably like 13 and tried it for the first time. It's a fantastic meal. But that is very off topic for our
Off
conversation
topic,
today.
but on brand. Yeah.
It That's very true. It is breakfast food. I guess that is like on topic, sort of.
Yeah.
But welcome to Warlocks and Waffles. We had a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and actually I think a few weeks before that as well. We had, like, it was a kind of a two-part thing of talking about NPCs, and like hirelings and stuff like that. And the NPCs are such an important part of games. Like, if you have a game where there are no NPCs, that gets very boring very quickly. Like, the players need something to interact with.
I'm gonna.
Um,
You've just issued a challenge,
I
man. I'm gonna.
in the back
Yeah.
of my head,
Yeah.
as soon as I said it, I was like, could I run a game with no NPCs? What would that
One.
look like?
1,000,000%.
Story need to be in order to
Well,
justify, like, that's a like last man on earth sort of survival thing of like the party is the only people left. Um
that becomes what, like, this becomes like a language arts like exercise and like a
mhm,
literature exercise. When you start going like, what are the characters and what are the themes and stuff like that, then it becomes the setting. The setting,
yeah,
or like, like, even though that chair wasn't alive, they personified it, and things are going to get like that. Animals that are just, everything will become an NPC, because you'll have to breathe life. Everything is an NPC in D&D because you have to breathe life into it.
right.
But we're going to actually talk about living, breathing things in this one, where things will have, we're going to lay out some basics for each thing, and then you'll have an NPC you can use in your games,
Yeah.
or not, and avoid them like the plague. We might be making somebody's new PC. We don't know,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, these will
mhm.
be very interesting. On Friday last week, we had used the our magic item mania generator wheels, to determine, like, okay, we're gonna determine what type of like encounter this is used for. Is it for social exploration, combat, and then what type of item is it? And so we had done that, and we had a very good time
I
building
want to
off
do that
of those
again. Like,
wheels.
it was
Um,
it was better than I thought it was gonna be.
yeah, but this time, we have built out similar wheels but for NPCs. So we have one to determine like what kind of person they are. Are they a dwarf, an elf, a human? We've got one to determine their occupation. So where do they fall in this like grand world of ours? And then we have one that is their background, which is not background in the sense of this one's a sage, this one's an outlander. Like it's not like that. This is more along the lines of like a quirk or a belief or something like that of this character.
Something to the flavor that you
Yeah,
can like
something
use
to
to
flavor
build them
them.
out.
Yeah, exactly. Those are our wheels today. I can throw those up here, so we've got them visually. And then Junie, I believe I went first last time. So it seems only fitting that you go first today for building out this character. And
Okay.
I feel like this is there is a common belief, especially amongst like new GMs, that
Mhm.
like they have to be very prepared. They have to have
Oh
everything
yeah, yeah. Oh
prepped,
gosh,
everything
yeah.
ready to go.
Mhm.
And that's just not true.
Correct.
You can make stuff up all the time.
Mhm.
If you want to have nothing prepared, you could, as long as you're good at coming up with things on the fly. Um,
Correct.
but this is partially an example of just like we're going to make NPCs that you can use in your game if you would like to. It is also just an example of like you can make these very quickly. Like if your players decide we're going to go off and like investigate this bakery. Like, is there a bakery in town? We want to go talk to the bakery people. I don't know if I've ever told you, Junie, the first game I ever ran with Nate, who is the CEO of Start Playing.
Mhm.
When I first started running games on the site, he booked me to run a game for like him and a bunch of his friends. They
Mhm.
entered the town, and immediately upon entering the town, Nate decided that his character really wanted bear claws, like the pastry, and
Yeah.
went off to find a bakery that sold bear claws. And immediately like derailed the entire the entire adventure I had prepped to
That
go
was
find bear
deception.
claws. We got them to the bakery, and it was like it's this delightful bakery. You walk in, there's this nice lady like making stuff behind the counter, and like the smell that hits you is just this cacophony of different pastries that washes over you. And he like walks up to the counter and he says like, I would like a bear claw, please. And in that moment, I was like, I can either give him the bear claw and we can move on and we like do the adventure I had prepped,
Or
or I cannot give him a bear claw and see what happens. And so immediately I decided to go with the second one and did one of my very rare, instead of a yes and, here's a no but. And the lady was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, dear. I'm actually deathly allergic to almonds. So I don't make bear claws here. We have cinnamon rolls. Would that suit ya?" And he's like, they don't have bear claws. And I watched him like try and process this information, and then that became the rest of the adventure, was finding a bakery that had bear claws, and it was such a fun session. But all that to say, NPCs can be spawned out of literally nothing. If you have just a basic idea, you can run with it. Some of my favorite NPCs in my games have been spawned off of really dumb jokes, or just a random side character that I put there that the players decided to latch onto. So let's go ahead and play this game. Junie,
okay.
would you like to
Give
spin the
me
wheel?
yes. I would like this wheel spunded. Uh, so what's gonna be our first the thing? My games are always really diverse, so it's never like it's a city of kobolds.
Yeah.
So we got a Goliath.
This is a
All right,
Goliath.
this
Yeah.
is gonna be
I
they're gonna be
I love a
beefy.
Goliath.
I
Um,
have a thing for this, but I'm gonna wait until we get the other things because I
you're already talking it through
oh
in
no
your
no no
brain.
because when I think Goliath, I think of I don't think I believe I don't think of what is normally the case.
Mm,
Um,
an
Goliath,
innkeeper.
innkeeper. Okay.
Okay.
Cool beans.
I
Okay.
like this already. This is fun.
Yep.
And their quirk. There are so many things on this
There's a
wheel.
lot of things.
I literally can't read them. They're so small.
Yeah, they show up.
Is a compulsive liar.
Cool beans. Okay.
So
So
you have a Goliath innkeeper who is a compulsive
Goliath
liar.
innkeeper.
Who's this character? Who's
So-
that Pokemon?
So I just need to make sure something specifically. So Goliaths, right?
Yeah.
They are half giant, right? That's the background.
They're sort of giant kin, yeah.
Giant
I don't
kin.
know if they're technically half giants or if they are
Oh.
or if they're kind of in the same vein of like a
Distantly
like
related to giants and infused with supernatural essence of their ancestors' mountainous home.
Awesome.
Goliaths. Okay. So
so kind of in the
it's
same sense of like a tiefling, an Aasimar, a
That's exactly.
Genasi, yeah.
Cool beans. That's okay. That's what I thought. Because when I think of Goliath, I think of not necessarily like, oh, half elf or half orc necessarily, but that there it like giant was mixed in at some point. Can
Right.
you spin that first wheel again for me?
I can.
Then do it.
Are you going? You're
Is-
going half
yep.
Goliath?
Well, I mean, there's gonna be some giant blood in there, but what else do we got in here?
A Warforged.
Okay.
That's about the worst option you could have gotten for that, Junie.
That is the worst option. That is not where I was gonna go for this.
But you asked for the
so-
role, that you gotta go with it now.
Okay.
So
yeah,
you have
so-
a. So I would assume, based on
no,
what you've been
a
given.
third time, please.
No.
Mhm. Yeah, no, do it a third time because this is going to be that's the connector. I need one more.
Okay. So we're going with
I-
like a cyborg now.
Hold on, you'll see what happens here.
A halfling.
Okay, cool.
A
cool.
halfling, a Goliath, and a Warforge, and Junie is just adding rules to this game to be able to
Okay, so-
demand additional
halfling-
spins.
So halfling, Goliath, Warforged. Okay, so this is definitely like the world's largest halfling, right? It's the world's tallest halfling.
Okay.
And it's one of those things where it is a potentially touchy subject, but you know, it's one of those like, you ever see somebody who like they're just so tall they needed like knee braces type of situation, like their knees like doing it, or a back brace or something like that. It's kind of you know,
I'm familiar with my existence, yeah.
so anyway,
for anybody who doesn't know, I am not a crazy tall person, but most of my height came from one summer. I grew 6 inches over the course of one summer. I grew 6 inches the summer I turned 13. And so none of my bones grew correctly. My spine is all weird. If you ever meet me in person, I'll know if you watch this episode because your eyes will immediately look at my legs. So my shin, what's the lower leg? The like
shin.
Yeah, the shin, right? Okay. The bones there are like slightly curved.
Oof.
So if I'm ever like walking around a lot or like I'm doing a lot of like physical stuff, I get shin splints so bad because those bones are just incorrect. Yeah.
This is someone who took their Goliath heritage like to heart. So they definitely tried to put themselves in situations where they shouldn't have, and tried to like extend themselves, and then their body kind of rebelled. But they're a compulsive liar. So anytime they broke something or things didn't like, you know, it was just a little whatever, and he had to get something to whatever, it was always like a cooler battle story.
Okay.
So anytime there was an injury or he needed some, oh man, you keep trying to like lift things and you're hurting your back, and now you have to have this back thing. But it's gonna be like,
he doesn't bend at the knees. He always bends at the back.
Yeah, he's just not smart about it, and it's something where he could have just lived a normal life, but he pushed himself, and it's a fun combination of he is the tallest and shortest.
Mhm.
So he's just and he's older. I'm imagining something that's survived, like beat all the odds. If you'd have bet this person would have survived past a certain age, like they're just really old and just kept pushing themselves, and so they are the line between how much is man and how much is machine is now blurred. Um, but they are 100% man, according to them, and
Mhm.
100% battle hardened warrior. And the inn, it's an innkeeper, right?
It's an innkeeper. I do have to clarify. So is
Yeah.
this is a half Goliath, half halfling,
Yes,
whose body is like doesn't enjoy that,
correct.
and has been modified with like essentially warforged
Yes,
like exoskeleton type things.
correct.
Um, when it with the combination of warforged and halfling, and you've said they're just like a normal person, are they just like a normal human essentially at that point?
Yes. Once again, no one will believe him. Like, he is a compulsive liar. So the line of, "Are you just a warforged? Are you just a human? Are you
Yeah.
a sure?" Like, what? Like, he's going to
So
have a
he
different.
tells people that he's a like a human because
I
he's a
feel.
compulsive liar.
Oh, no, no, no.
But
Not just tell people he's a human. I mean, when I said like 100% man, I mean, like, he's like
oh, okay.
the machine components. That doesn't make me. Like, I'm
Sure, sure, sure,
100%
sure.
me. But I will say that the his ancestry has like, depending on who you asked, that's going to be different.
Hmm.
How he got that one scar, or how he lost that one eye is always going to be different.
It's all
And
bar story lore type stuff.
correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's kind of like, it's always good for a like a story if you want to go to this place, and just hear something.
Hmm.
So it's kind of like, people go, the place is decent, but you're not just going for this person, going for this place. You're going because the innkeeper
Right.
is entertaining.
You
He's a
go for
character.
the local flavor. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. And so if we're going order of the things that we have here, it was Goliath,
Goliath, Warforged,
but
Halfling,
then I did
Innkeeper.
Warforged, uh halfling as well, uh and then an innkeeper. Oh, my kid is up. Okay. And then compulsive liar.
Okay.
So
I'm going to add a rule here going forward though.
uh-huh.
You're allowed to ask for an additional spin on any of the three, but you're only allowed to ask for one additional spin, and then
That's fair.
you have to build off of whatever you get. You can't just
What
keep demanding more spins,
No,
Judy.
no, that's fair. If it wasn't for Warforged, it would have just been like, there would have been a halfling Goliath, and there would have been, are they incredibly tall? Are they incredibly short?
Hmm.
But the Warforged, I was like, well, what if they were a cyborg?
Yeah.
And that's where it turned into the connector thing. So that's on me, and I've been many of I've this isn't the first time somebody's had to make a rule because of me. So yes. Um, and I'm trying to think of their name.
Yeah.
Uh, their name here, if they're a Goliath,
Yeah.
if Goliath is the base, I do think that that's probably uh a tribe. But
Hmm.
if they are
Definitely, it definitely has the vibe of like born to the Goliaths, right? Because they are
correct.
like Goliath is the first one, so they're raised in Goliath culture,
Yes.
which means that
And
like some Goliath had a child with a halfling.
yes. And then maybe the halfling did a lot of the raising, as far as the, like, to accommodate their bodies rebelling, and medical attention, and arcana, and whatever the heck.
Some like
So
barbarian Goliath
so
tribe that's like
uh
sending their kid to the big city for
it's
summers.
it this is once again, I do the thing where I've made things accidentally sad, but I'm thinking like the child of divorce, right? And
Ro-
like,
Rosie's got a great name for you, bud. Buckles Brittleback.
oh man, I think that's the name he probably ended up with. But that's not what he wanted, I'll tell you that.
Brittleback Inn is a very good name for an inn
I
though.
think Brittleback Inn would probably be fantastic. And he probably if he named it Brittleback Inn, it's probably because he like was saying like I make like I beat people up, makes their backs brittle. Like, you know,
Mhm.
he's doing it like he thinks it's aggressive, and people were like, oh, is that because you're fragile? And he doesn't make that connection.
Right.
Um,
He thinks it's a very tough name, and everybody is like, "Oh, it's because he has really bad scoliosis."
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, oh, that's really, you know what? I'm trying to think of like if it's like, you know, he spends some weekends at the tribe and some weekends in town. Like this is like I
Hmm.
said, yeah, he probably has like a Goliath last name, which is usually like you know, a strong draw or
Hmm.
like, you know, tree stomper. So for him,
Thunderfist.
yeah, so him is
Yeah.
probably like stone bone, right? So it's like something
Okay.
stone bone, and I'm trying to think of what the first name is. What's a halfling name? Um,
Buckles is very good.
damn it, you're right.
Buckles
Buckles. So
Stonebone is so funny.
Buckles Stonebone is kind of good job threading that needle
Yeah.
of lame but pretty good.
Yeah.
Uh, and
Buckles Stonebone, proprietor of the Brittleback Inn.
dang, that
Um,
sounds really good.
that's very
And he's
good.
just always a liar. There's only two things he doesn't lie about, and it's his prices.
Hmm.
Like, you know, you see what you get. That you're gonna get that. And he respects client confidentiality
Sure.
because no one's gonna hurt his reputation but him.
Yeah. I like the interpretation of the compulsive liar being more like bar story type lies
Yeah,
of like
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
more of a like always evolving like tales of glory and wonder
yeah.
versus the like just consistently lying forever for everything. I think that's a very good interpretation of it. Awesome. Stonebone. I like it. Okay. Next
Okay.
NPC.
Yep. All right.
Let's roll. Let's see it.
You're like, hold on, I need
Spoon,
another
spoon,
spin.
spoon, 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 spoon. A sentient plant.
Hmm.
Love that.
Okay.
Uh, their occupation is
Oh, please. I don't know if you removed
depending on
innkeeper
what.
or not, but that'd be so funny if it was an innkeeper.
Oh, it was almost herbalist, and I would have been so excited. A sentient plant mercenary.
I'm so glad it didn't land on thief.
Thief would have been very funny.
Yeah.
Um.
Oh
Let's
God,
see here.
it's so many. You wouldn't even be able to tell what's an option.
Has a strange obsession with a specific color. Ooh.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So strange obsession with a specific color, sentient plant, and a what was the
Obsession
occupation?
with a specific color.
No, the second what was the occupation?
Oh,
Um,
mercenary.
mercenary. Okay. Ooh, that's very good. I like that a lot. Um, okay. So I'm picturing a um okay, this is what it is. It's a tree a treant
Okay.
who has been
You know
has
something? I didn't put treant on here because I put Mike in it, and when I put
mhm,
sentient plant, I envisioned it can be any plant.
sure.
Like not a treant.
Hmm.
But that's kind of funny because it was just like, oh, that's obvious. Like
Yeah.
that was one I could have put on there. I didn't. I was like, oh, it could be a Venus flytrap, but
Yeah.
that's
So
interesting. Yeah.
this is a treant.
Hmm.
They are a mercenary with a like you know how there's like the oath of the ancients for paladin and like the druids and the rangers and stuff like that. Sort of
Hmm.
an organization of those of like essentially like people that are defending the forests and the like powerful nature
Nature
places.
cops.
Nature cops, yeah.
Ooh.
Their leader is a werebear named Smokey.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, they are the people that are protecting like nature and defending
They're
those
like
sacred places and stuff like that. Yeah, like
rangers,
forest
like,
rangers.
but they use like their
Um,
powers to
exactly. Yeah.
Power Rangers, if you will.
Yeah, like Power Rangers.
Yeah. Okay.
Sometimes they gotta go. You would find them in like sacred groves and like places touched by powerful magic, areas where like the border between the Feywild and the natural the prime material plane is like very thin. Anything like that. Any like sacred place like that. This particular treant is a they are a mercenary, so they were like hired by this organization. They have their own stuff, but like the mercenary element comes in like I envision mercenary being anytime you are like you wouldn't do it just for free, but you're being paid to do it, so you'll do it. Is sort of like that sort of energy of
Hmm.
like most adventurers could be considered mercenaries because like
Yeah.
you can hire them to do pretty much most things.
Yeah.
So he is a mercenary in that sense of this organization has high like rewards him in some way for his combination of his efforts.
Hmm.
My brain is having trouble with words. Where the obsession with the this particular color comes into play is in the same energy as like somebody who is clearly going bald and refuses to admit it. Um, his leaves are all turning like brown, and he just keeps
Oh.
painting them green.
Oh my
And
God.
he's very obsessed with this like one shade of green that like he wants all of his leaves to stay that way. He is a
Hmm.
respected, well-established treant. He refuses to admit that his leaves are beginning to brown and fall off.
Oh
So there are
no,
just
that's
like
sad.
leaves that have like branches that have leaves like tied to the branch with string and like painted green. And yeah, he's obsessed with this sort of image that he wants to
Aren't
present.
treants huge too? Or are they
Yeah,
like?
they're
Oh
like
my God. Okay. Yeah.
large creatures. I'm picturing just a like a bunch of squirrels and stuff that live in the branches and are like all they do is run around and like they've got like little buckets and they're dipping their tails into the little buckets of like green paint and then painting these leaves or like using their tiny little squirrel hands to like tie leaves onto the branches and stuff. Yeah, obsessed with that shade of green. I'm thinking the name of this ent is verdant evergreen. um
Ooh. Is
uh
that their real name?
that is the name everyone knows them by.
Okay.
Verdant evergreen. And so he's just determined to make sure that he continues to have that persona.
And I know you said like it's more of they're accepting like missions and things from like this one. What kind of like mercenary jobs can a treant do? Is it like any, and it's just like, well, if they're
Like
in a town, I'm huge, I'm just gonna stomp into that
yeah,
town?
not like
Or is it
town
like,
jobs.
okay.
This would absolutely be like a like something has been hunting the deer population
Mhm.
and like that needs to stop. Or like there is a coming through this road, there's going to be like this individual that needs to be apprehended and stopped. And so he's a tree. He can just sort of stand next to the road. Nobody's going to notice him. And then when that person rides by, he just grabs him. The stuff like that. Yeah. Verdant evergreen, the saddest sentient sapling there ever was. They're yeah, I feel good about that. I I didn't mean him to be a sad character, and I think both of our characters so far have
Mhm.
had an undertone of sadness. And what our next two characters need to be
They're gonna
very
be, yeah,
very
they're
fun
gonna be so
characters.
good. Yeah, we can do two more, and we got this. And they're gonna be joyful. They're gonna be positive. They're gonna be not depressing at all.
Okay,
Um,
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Go for it. Give me who that.
You have a
Give me.
spin. Sentient animal.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it
Okay.
almost made it to sentient animate something.
Sentient animate object.
Sentient animate object would have been fun. Sentient animal. Occupation is going to be. Oh, come on. Oh, it almost made it to chef, and I was so excited for the ratatouille situation you were about to make. Okay, so a carpenter, a sentient animal carpenter. I
Carpenter.
feel like there's
Okay.
a very clear right answer for the type of animal here.
Uh-huh.
Their quirk here. So many things. Nonchalant. They maintain a laid-back attitude even in high-pressure situations.
Okay. All right. So, in animals in D&D, there's always a giant something. There's badgers, there's giant badgers, there's you know what I mean? So I'm envisioning, and this is gonna be, you're gonna be like, tilting your head a little bit, but imagine a giant woodpecker,
Okay.
right? Using
I
like
like
a
that.
giant eagle stats or something like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
And then
I'm
given
very into that.
yeah, like an awakening spell or something like that. So it would have been easier if it was an Aarakocra, but no, not this one. I'm imagining like an assistant to a carpenter, like a master carpenter.
Yeah.
And that individual has eventually died, didn't have children, and then this, like, it's like if you walk into a shop
took
and it's a
over
bunch of like
took
furniture,
over the shop type of thing.
yeah, it's just, you see like because that was gonna be funny if it was really like small, but it's like still large, like, you know what I mean? So this is a Pokemon at this point, not a like full 6 feet tall like sitting up thing, but still a sizable thing, has very dexterous wings.
This is a medium-sized dog of a woodpecker.
Correct, yeah. But an awakened woodpecker, and whenever I think like it's magic's gonna let anything talk, because it's like, well, how can it talk with its beak? You know what I mean? It's like it can just like, it'll talk the same way other things talk. It's just, it can.
It has like it could also have like a psychic communication or something like that. Magic solves a lot of problems.
Yes. Sentient animal, carpenter, and what was the last thing? Sentient background. Nonchalant. Yeah. The reason I landed on woodpecker was because I imagined the scenario of it's like, oh, you need your cart repaired, because nonchalant automatic, like imagine like a deep voice, so it's like, you need your cart repaired, yeah, no problem, I can take care of that. If you excuse me, I'm working on this cabinet for the old lady down the road, and like just jackhammering, like just smashing their face into like a slab of wood. Yeah, so yeah, if you give me like, half a day, I'll be able to do that. Sawdust comes out, and it's just gonna be like the switch between doing woodpecker into doing woodpecker action into wood, and then shifting back into conversation, being something that a player would abuse. Have you ever given an NPC a trait or something that your players are like, oh man, they only speak in riddles, we gotta ask him as many questions as possible? And it's just one of those things. I imagine myself like giving myself a headache, and then going, it's like, yeah, so it's not a problem. Is there anything else I can do? I have some wooden magic items I've made. It's kind of fun, a little side hobby of mine, and then, you know what I mean? Like something random like that. But as far as a what would their name be? I don't want to go for the obvious here.
Yeah.
Um,
Woodrick.
yeah.
Aspen.
Oh, you know what? Man, Aspen is good, but let me see. I've already said I've already connected it to Pokemon. So I've already connected it to Pokemon, so I would imagine Piggy Peck. I would just I that's how I would it's spelled P-I-K-I P-E-K. Peaky Peck.
Nice. Peaky
And he's
Peck.
just like, "Hi, my name is Peaky Peck." And it just sounds kind of cool with
Hey,
that voice.
what's up?
Hey,
Hey,
I'm
I'm Peaky
Peaky
Peck.
Peck.
Yeah.
I'm Peaky Peck.
You
What can I do for you guys?
need some wood carving? I got you.
I can peck it.
Yeah, I
Can't carve
can.
it.
Yeah. Oh man. That's I love the concept of like walking into a shop and you just hear like something hammering like
Yeah.
and you're like, "Oh man, what is that person doing?" And then just walking out of the back is like a giant woodpecker just like taking its
Dusting
wings and
himself
like
off. Yeah, yeah,
getting stuff off of it. And he's like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Peaky Peck. You need something? I got you." That's so much fun. I love that.
yeah. Little
Um,
apron.
yeah.
Little apron with a hammer that he never uses.
Oh, it's so good. He has like all of
Yeah,
the
he
like the
has this stuff.
woodcarver's tools, but like has never touched them because he doesn't
Yeah.
have hands.
Yeah. He's
Like
like I
yeah,
said, dexterous feathers. He can manipulate things. He can take your money. He can
yeah,
open a drawer and stuff. But he's just he just
yeah.
does it with
I'm
his
Peaky
face.
Peck. Yeah. Oh, that's so fun. I like that a lot. He just constantly sends the adventurers out on quests to find him like different rare woods.
Oh,
Uh,
that's funny.
okay.
Different rare woods.
Let's see here.
I needed this enchanted mahogany.
Somebody's asked me for this in cedar. I don't got no cedar laying around.
Okay.
A myconid. I just did sentient plant, so
That's fair.
I would like to respin.
No, that's a free one. Yeah, that's fair.
Dun 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 dun. Shifter. Love a shifter.
Okay.
It was almost changeling, which is one of my least favorites, so I'm very glad it wasn't. Shifter with the occupation of a baker. Very funny since I told the story of the baker earlier.
Okay.
A shifter baker.
What could it be? What could it be?
Reserved, prefers observing conversations rather than actively participating. Interesting.
I don't know why I already pictured like a creepy person, but that's just me.
I'm going to use a like add another thing here.
Okay.
To add another occupation and fingers crossed because I really want a specific thing. Ship captain works. So I am picturing a shifter. They are sort of sea inspired. So like imagine like a sort of humanoid looking, but they've got almost scaly looking skin, very faint. You only catch it if the light hits it just right. Slight blue tint to their bodies. They look pretty normal except for the fact that their eyes are very unsettling. They just have like these very dark eyes, and if they ever open their mouth you see just rows of teeth. They've got like the shark teeth. And this is somebody who is in this town. They're working as a baker. They don't really engage with people. They work in this bakery. But this is somebody who is secretly like a pirate. And so the whole crew is here in town that are doing like different jobs in different places in town, gathering information for a like looking for this treasure or something that they're after. And so they are sitting in the town just sort of gathering information, and that's why he is like, he doesn't really engage in the conversation. He's just always listening. He's in there like folding the dough or whatever, like doing all of the stuff. Also, if he does talk to a customer, it's very upsetting to the customer, so like he's probably been asked not to. But like the whole crew
He's
is
not
here.
the owner. He's just like an employee.
He's just working in the shop. Like the whole crew of this pirate ship is like, has infiltrated this town in
Got
like
you.
low level positions where they're just all kind of like listening because there's something here. There's a like either I think like like an old pirate crew is rumored to have like settled down in this town, so they're just kind of like keeping ears open for like where that crew might be, because they're like they disappeared with like a large score or something like that. But the goal is, as soon as they have that information, they just like get that stuff, they disappear. Just middle of the night, tons of people are going to be gone because the whole crew is gone. However, I do think that this pirate captain, like shifter, has developed kind of like a love of baking bread.
I was gonna say,
And
are
they
they
just
good?
they
Are they
they
good
love
at it?
they've discovered a talent they never knew they had, of just like they love it so much. They've got like little like claws that almost look like shark teeth. Oh, you know how shark have like multiple rows of teeth? Each finger has like two claws that come off of it to like resemble those
I don't know
shark
if I-
teeth.
Oh man. Oh man.
And so like, you know, when you're baking bread and you like cut into the top of it to give it like a vent
Yeah.
into the dough, it's just like with his claw, and so there's then two lines that go
he
down
can
it.
he can make designs and patterns that other
Yeah,
people can't. Yeah, wow, that's actually pretty good. That's good.
beautifully artistic in a way that like he never has pursued this. He grew up in a pirate crew. Like he's worked his way up through the ranks and has like lived a life of carnage and blood for his entire life. And then he got here and they were like, "Can you make a good sourdough?" And he was like, "I guess." And then just like started making bread, and he's like, "I've discovered my true passion."
You're gonna
Like,
need either two names, like his real pirate name and the name he gave them, or did he
Yeah.
just give them his real last name? Like,
I think two names. I think pirate name. I oh man, it's got to be something dumb. I this is this is Captain Finn Shademaw. Is his pirate name. The his "I'm just a baker" sort of name is oh man
Okay.
his undercover baker name is Yeast Suspicious.
Yes.
Somebody told him to come
Yes.
up with the least suspicious name he could, and he said, "I'm Yeast Suspicious. I'm a baker.
My name is Yeast.
I'm Yeast.
Yeast suspicious.
The tides may rise, and so do my breads." This is
That's when he opens his own shop.
it just he dismantles the pirate crew, just uses the ship to like ship breads to different corners of the cities.
I don't I know you most likely haven't, but I wrote it in the chat. There I was like, Hunter's been watching One Piece.
I haven't.
because-
I've heard great things about the Netflix show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't gotten around to watching it yet.
I haven't gotten to the episode where it is, but I've seen it in the anime. But there is like a full like a floating a restaurant in the sea.
Okay, love
and
that.
the cooks are all they handle themselves well because pirates do show up eventually, like whatever. So they're all kind of like rough and tumble cooks. It's not like, you know, you can badmouth them at all. And you know, the head chef has a past, and he's not just the owner head chef is not just like some dude.
Damn it!
And I was like,
nothing's original anymore.
No,
I
yours isn't exactly it, but
I
it's
can't
funny.
come up with anything that's original. That's so
Uh,
sad.
but you
No,
know,
that's awesome.
it's
I love that.
no, yours is different enough. But it was just funny. It was just like a pirate cook is very um it was really funny. I really like this. I like I'm just gonna call him Yeast because I think that is maybe one day he'll reconcile and be like, you know, somehow combine those names. But
Hmm.
I like Yeast Suspicious. Like he just takes it. It's
Yeast
just like
Suspicious is I'm very proud of that.
when he owns his own when he owns his own bakery, it's like, aren't you the dreaded pirate Finn? It's just like,
No,
no, I don't go by
I'm
that name anymore.
Finn Shademar, you say. This is the name I haven't heard in a long
Yeah.
time.
All right.
I am Yeast Suspicious. And you're like, that's kind of a suspicious name. He's like, no, it's the Yeast Suspicious. Excellent.
That conversation has
I'm
happened
very
more than
proud of
once.
that. Yeah.
We got time for one more. Then Junie's got to peace out. Let's see what we got to deal with here. Once again, happy fun times one. You did a happy fun baker, and I'm gonna be a happy fun
a
turtle.
turtle.
Yes,
Yes, I love a turtle.
turtles.
Love them so
turtle
much.
power.
Okay,
Turtle.
so a turtle with, I don't know if ninja is on here, but I want there
It
to be
isn't,
ninja.
but I wish it was.
Oh, it was so close to knight that would have still worked.
Yep.
A miner, a turtle miner.
Okay.
You go the other way and just be like, well, a miner, they're a
yes,
teenager.
I almost did it. I almost did it.
Trusting. They believe in the inherent goodness of people, sometimes to their detriment.
Oh, please. Okay. I don't want to make another sad one. All right, hold on. I'm trying to not make another sad one. Because I almost made another bad one. Okay. Okay. No, I could do this. I think this is someone that their family home
Mm-hmm.
is like over a like rich like gem deposit or like a
Okay.
rich ore deposit, and it's like, you know, the family like shop or whatever that like, you know, makes things off of that, like jewels, magic items and stuff like that. I think that is like above it or nearby it. But this turtle, like, you know, everybody, it's a family business, so everybody kind of helps, you know, take care of the shop. And this turtle, when it's his turn to man the shop,
Mm-hmm.
he's very trusting, and it's very easy to give him a sob story to kind of like get a discount on something,
Yeah.
or get a he's definitely better suited down below.
Mm-hmm.
He's usually the one that finds like the rich vein of something, or he finds a nice chunk of this or a rare material. So he is that's where he goes, like he's more well
Mm-hmm.
suited for in the family. But when he's up here, he has great customer service. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
loves him, but
Yeah.
he's always losing profits.
It's where he's clearly meant to interact with people, except that he's so good intentioned and
Correct.
so like pure of heart that he wants to help everybody. And
Yeah.
bad people exploit that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. Can I add to that for a minute?
Sure. Yeah.
They're like doing the mine stuff. It could be that it is like the mines flooded a long time ago, and so that's why they're turtles. They're like they can go deep under, and they're just like mining in the water. And like nobody else goes down there, so it makes them a very useful group to have in town.
Yeah. No, I really like that.
Man, I love
then,
the idea of just a really well-intentioned NPC who is like because adventurers constantly try to get like the best
Yeah.
deal they can.
Yeah.
It would be so funny to have a like an NPC who is incredibly good intentioned, incredibly good nature, who like everybody who lives in that town knows that like this
Yeah.
person is the sweetest person in the world. You do not take advantage of them, and then the adventurers like take advantage of that and like get
Oh, that's
some
funny.
crazy deal or something, and they just get like the entire town hates them now.
I was gonna
Like
say, could you spin the
everybody
background
knows
wheel
them.
one more time? Because
Yeah.
what I was gonna do was, like he's the one you always hope you get when you go to the shop.
Mhm.
But if you go when it's not his time there, you're gonna get hopefully it's a bad one. Yeah, there we go.
Analytical
Yeah.
keeps a detailed
Yep.
journal filled with
Mhm. You're gonna get
observations and data.
you're gonna
Yeah.
get you're gonna get the older sister that keeps
Mhm.
track of the books and is really pissed when her little brother is constant like it's
Yeah.
just like his man it's Mikey but spelled like Mykee. So it's Mikey and oh what would her name be? Oh no, what would her name be? Something
Donna,
something yeah, that's good. Yep.
Mikey and Donna.
Yep.
They have two other siblings, Leopold, and um, just Ralph.
Yeah. Then spin that wheel 2 more times.
Oh no. Okay, yeah, let's do it. This is for Leopold. Diligent, puts in long hours of hard work to achieve their
Wow,
goal.
that just
Yeah.
works. Wow.
Runs the mining side, I feel like.
I think he's the balance where he's not as
Yeah.
good as Mikey, but he does a great job of running that, and he's good at the business side. Like he's
Oh my
the,
goodness,
he's the neutral
Ralph, known for sudden and unexpected actions or decisions.
Wow.
The wheel tells a story.
Wow.
That lines up very well. Wow.
Wow, that worked out perfectly.
That worked out
Wow.
incredibly well. We couldn't have
Dang.
planned that.
No, wow, that's fantastic. But no, it's kind of like it's just you roll a d4 that whoever's like when you're running that
Whoever's
shop,
running
you
it
roll a
that day,
d4 and you get and that's gonna like oh you might be more likely to get a discount or like
Yeah.
it's neutral when it's Leopold with Ralph. Man, you got to have a good argument or you better like say something, otherwise you're gonna piss him off and get like the price is gonna go up somehow. I do like the mechanic of everybody wants to protect Mikey, and if they find out you took advantage of him, like random people will not like you.
Yeah, you're like
be...
we're looking to buy a horse, and they're like, yeah, we don't have any, and you're like, there's a ton of horses, those are all sold. It's just like nobody will work with you in any capacity. The prices everywhere else in town goes up by like double if you took advantage of Mikey.
I had to struggle to not make it depressing because I was like, all right, somebody that like is trusting and a miner that I imagine somebody that like
he's a total sweetheart. The town loves him.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I imagined him being nice, but then it's something where it's like if somebody needs something dug up or whatever, he's constantly out there and people are taking advantage of him type of thing. And I was like, I didn't want it to be that. I didn't want it to be like, oh, he's stuck in the mines because everybody else gets him to work extra shifts and he does it because so needs that extra money. So
no one in town would ever take advantage of him because they know he's sweet. Okay, my last one, right?
We got to make it quick. I gotta go, we can give it a shot.
Let's do it. Dun. Lizard folk, love a lizard folk. A lizard folk. Oh, it was almost firefighter. A lizard folk gardener. That's fun. I like that a lot. With the artistic crafts intricate sculptures from found materials.
Wow.
This is a lizard folk who makes like topiaries.
This is a landscaper. This is like the best landscaper.
Claws and teeth and stuff that they're just like very Edward Scissorhands, just and then there's just like topiaries of elaborate things. This is a lizard folk who just loves doing what needs to be done and like taking care of the grounds and stuff. So excited to be in the big city. Just this like from the like deep swamps or jungles or some like small little tribe of lizard folk that like wandered off too far and got found by like a group of adventurers or a group of hunters or something like that, and they were like, where's your home? And he didn't know because he was so small, and so they like took him with them to the big city. And he loves everything about it. He just is enjoying his little gardening existence. He
Something
loves flowers.
when I look at like I was like looking at lizard folk and I was like, but what if it was a certain type of lizard? Because like I'll like look at like if it's like a Aarakocra, I was like, let me
Mhm,
look at different birds and see if I pick one.
mhm.
When you type in like forest lizard, it is actually very similar to like the lizard folk art.
Yeah.
So it's just like that's like as accurate as can be of just like it was like a forest or swamp
Mhm.
thing, and it just maybe was a little more artistic than its relatives or
Yeah.
like its other folk.
Yeah.
But like what's the name of this artsy lizard?
So I feel like he probably had a name before he like left the tribe, but I picture him leaving very very young, so he probably doesn't know what that name was.
Mm.
So he was probably given a name by the
Oh,
adventurers or whoever found him and brought him to town. So I'm thinking, let's see
who do you
here.
think would be most likely to have a landscaping company?
Um, I feel
Or
like
does he found
having
by a
a
noble? Was he found by a noble family and he does their grounds?
I think it's a group of adventurers who found him
Okay.
and just like loved their little lizard boyfriend, and they like brought him to town. And then adventurers have an absurd amount of expendable income, so they just have like figure like what interests him, and then they found what interested him, and they just poured like a bunch of money into like setting him up to be able to do that.
Wow.
Like
I could
Seen
see, yeah.
adventurers, I've seen my players pour
Yeah.
absurd amounts of money
Oh
into
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
setting up
yeah,
their
yeah.
favorite NPCs. So I'm picturing, it's got to be something like cute that the adventurers would have called him. Um,
Mm.
I'm Nibbles. Uh,
Okay.
uh, Nibbles, and then something that was given to him when he started doing the like gardener stuff. Um Nibbles Dirt Trotter.
Okay.
And it's the dirt trotter gardening is his business. And it's just this like a
I,
adorable, very
I was going
enthusiastic
to
lizard man.
I was gonna go against Dirt Trotter, but then I was like, if it was adventurers,
Hmm.
right? I can see a group of, depending on the dynamic, and it wasn't like elves and bards.
Hmm.
I can see somebody who's going, no, no matter what, Dirt Trotter. And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, they
Yeah.
wouldn't think too hard. It's just like, oh no, like leaf switcher, like
Yeah.
something cutter, twig cutter. Like no,
Yeah.
Dirt Trotter. I think they would go with Dirt Trotter. You're right. That was good. That was a good instinctual move.
Um, awesome. Those are our NPCs, guys. We've got a good group. Feel free to take them, put them in your world. Let us know if your players interact with any NPCs that you found on our show. And if they do, like let us know the adventures that they get into with them. We I would love to hear updates on our NPCs. Now put them all in a session. We
One
put
session, one world.
one
It seems
game.
cohesive.
Yeah,
It does seem
it's
like
all
they
the
could all
same
work.
town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys so much for making the time. We will be back on Friday for more of this before the weekend. And we'll see what nonsense comes our way then. I don't have a topic in mind. And so we'll talk it over. We'll figure out what it's gonna be.
Maybe there'll be a wheel of something else. If
It
we've
could be,
done
yeah.
like we've done items, we've done NPCs.
Hmm.
We could either do locations. We can do specifically like BBEGs. If we want
Oh
to go
yeah,
like you
yeah.
know what I mean, like bosses. That might we can just keep the races first part. We keep that one and make 2 new wheels or just one more wheel for a
Yeah,
motivation.
we'll figure it out. There's options galore.
Mhm.
Thank you guys so much for making the time this morning. Thank you for starting your week with some nonsense. And we'll see you next time. Until Friday, have a great rest of your week. Remember, every person that you meet has their own stories that they're going through. Remember that every NPC that you interact with in game has the potential to be a friend, a foe, a lover. And every let's see, what's the third one? If you're
Don't
a GM who is out there and you want to be making like fun NPCs for your players to interact with, just go for it. Make weird NPCs out there. Give them the little kobold shipwright who's going to be excited to meet them. Give them the furbolg barbarian who doesn't want to fight but will if he needs to. Make those weird little characters to give your party to interact with, and don't be scared to try things, because the worst that could happen is the players didn't like that NPC and they move on and they'll meet a new one at some other point.
Yep.
If you put an NPC in the path that the players didn't enjoy, no harm, no foul. Try another one. There's very little like long-term ramifications that can happen from introducing an NPC that your players didn't enjoy.
Yeah.
So never be afraid to try a new one. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Later.
Bye, everybody.